This is not a dig on Harry Styles, and I like to think that that's obvious. But I understand that this can seem like I am trying to tell Harry Styles to lawyer up, but I'm not. Every song has a vibe, nothing's original. I'm just here to point out that vibe. And it's only for your own good, okay? I really like this song. Trust me, if I didn't like it, I would not put the time and effort into forming an opinion, talking about it, editing a video, which is going to take like a bajillion years because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing ever. I'm not supposed to swear. I told myself I wouldn't swear. It's okay. I think this is a fun exercise to do because for some reason I have this obsession with playlist making, and I feel like songs that either sound really similar or like fit the same vibe, I like to listen to together. My playlists do not have emotional whiplash, that's for sure. So, when I was listening to the new Harry Styles song, I like immediately was starting to like formulate the songs that I would like to listen to next to it, which is really interesting. And there was one song specifically that I'm going to mention first that like really hit me as like, oh, this is the song. This is the song. Like this is either his biggest inspiration or like maybe subconsciously decided to take certain parts of other songs and kind of make it his own and twist it into this version with this song. And I appreciate that. I want it to be known that I'm a Harry Styles stan, okay? Of course, back when One Direction was still together, I was one of those not like other girls types and thought that it was a personality to not like One Direction, which is fucking stupid. It's not the smartest thing in the world ever. But when his self-titled album came out in 2017, I absolutely ate it up. It was my shit. That was the exact sound of music that I was really vibing with at the time, and I really, really enjoyed it when it came out. I haven't listened to Fine Line. Watermelon Sugar is probably like the best song ever made, and it makes me reach Valhalla every single time I listen to it, but I have yet to listen to Fine Line itself. A lot of albums come out, and sometimes some of them just don't get listened to. Harry Styles was doing that kind of rock sound when he released the first album, which was the sound I was into because I was also entering my poptimism era. So it also being like a lot of pop and country influences didn't phase me as much as it probably would have just a year earlier. But I think the sort of pop sound that he went for in Fine Line, I wasn't expecting. And so because of that, I just neglected to, do my job or pay attention. That's my fault though. I'm definitely going to check it out at some point. Maybe. I do know for sure that I really, really like the singles off that album, and that this song has given me good vibes for his career and direction going forward. All of that being said, this song reminds me of a few other ones that I've heard before. Actually, can I preface my preface real quick before I actually get into it? Sorry to cockblock you like that, but I obviously have not heard every song. But I like to assume I've heard a lot. I don't know. So of course the songs I'm going to be mentioning are going to be limited by like the things that I've heard before. If there's a few songs that I've never heard before that you think also kind of fit into this category, this sound, then please tell me so I can add it to the playlist. Thank you. That being said, as soon as I heard the breakdown or like the dip into the final chorus, it reminded me so much of Pink Lemonade by James Bay. Now, I absolutely adore this song. This was, I'm pretty sure, in my top 10 of my favorite songs of 2018. I do a top 50 every year, as if anyone gives a shit. It's mostly just for me so I can at least try to archive the stuff that I listen to each year. It's getting increasingly harder because I'm getting increasingly impatient with my own taste in music. But I immediately got the sound and the vibe that Harry Styles is going to be going for on this album, at least I assume. Of course, it hasn't come out yet. But I think he's going to go for a James Bay kind of sound. Can I just say real quick, I think it's really interesting the way that Harry Styles has released his music and the way that he went about his solo career. Everyone used to say that Harry was the most important and the only member of One Direction that mattered. The joke used to always be like, oh, One Direction, Harry Styles, and the other four guys. So, before Zayn left, everyone was like, well, if One Direction break up or if they do solo projects, of course Harry Styles is going to be the most popular one. And I feel like that kind of put him in a weird box as to like what his career could be. In that box, he ended up being able to get out of, and somehow Zayn put himself in there for absolutely no reason. I fully think that if Zayn didn't leave One Direction and that One Direction just went on hiatus, they're technically still on hiatus, I think, actually. They broke up, and then Harry immediately released new music. It probably would have, the song would have gone to number one, and then everyone would have been like, wow, this is like overhype. And then his career would just slowly dwindle away to the point where he's making music with titles like Is Anybody Listening? Sadly, no, Zayn. But, I'll maybe check it out. Probably not. I have a lot that I'm doing, okay? Sorry. It's not you, it's me. But I think Harry was able to basically get away with his artsy, cute direction that he's in because he waited so long to make new music. All the other members were quick to hop on a random DJ guest feature with BB Rexa or make some weird, vaguely trendy music that ended up absolutely flopping, working with DJ Mustard, that kind of stuff. But Harry waited them all out and then released Sign of the Times, which sounded absolutely nothing like the pop sound of the time. It had live drums, it was 5 minutes long, it was like, oh, this is some real art shit, I see what you're trying to do here. And of course it wasn't the biggest song of that year. Sweet Creature was the second single, and I think that was completely misguided, but just my opinion. I feel like the more obvious second single is Kiwi, but there's no way that song was ever going to do anything, considering how it sounded and what year it came out in. Trust me, ask any artist who was trying to do any sort of rock music in the 2010s, and they're gonna give you some pretty disappointing news. Literally ask their tour bandmates 5 Seconds of Summer. Yes, I'll find a way to mention Five Sauce in literally everything I talk about. It's just inevitable. I think Harry Styles was able to get away with doing his old Peter Gabriel shtick and seeming like a weird oddball dude who just happens to start making pop hits. Taught in the Shadows in his video for his top 10 songs of 2020, I'm pretty sure. He was the first one to really point this out, that he wants to be like Bowie or Peter Gabriel, where he's like this indie weird art dude who just starts making pop bangers and they become popular just because of how good they are. But he's coming at it from the other side. So it is a little bit interesting to look at. That's what I feel like this song is channeling. Like, this is the James Bay song Pink Lemonade in the alternate universe, the better timeline actually, where that song was like the song of the summer in 2018 and was played on like every single radio station because it fucking bops. But instead, we have to get a popular artist like Harry Styles to do the sound to get it on the radio. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't think he's co-opting anything. I think this is just the sound that he wants to go towards. And if that happens to be anthemic indie bedroom pop, then so be it. Speaking of bedroom pop, that reminds me of the next song that this one reminds me of, and that is Can I Call You Tonight by Dayglow. I think TikTok kind of shuffled this song around, it wasn't like the least popular thing, but it's definitely what I would consider like indie pop or maybe even bedroom pop. I don't know. Genres don't exist anymore, but like giving labels is fun, I guess. I really liked this song when a friend of mine posted it on their Instagram story, and then I stalked them. I'll try to avoid stalking people from now on. These songs have that kind of airy, anthemic sound to them where they're still a vibe, they're not a bop, which you can categorize every single song into. So it's able to ride on that like internet TikTok vibe sound while also being larger than life. And you know what? I really appreciate that. Again, that fits into my little narrative that I've drawn up in my opinion on Harry Styles' career, where it's like he's trying to be an indie guy who does pop crossovers, even though he was already a pop dude. And so then he's creating indie songs that will just cross over because he's a pop dude. But besides all of that, those are the two like really main songs that I really got this sound from. But of course, I would be lying if those two songs that came up before this one were original in their own right. Because they're not. That kind of indie pop that I said, where it's still chill and vibes, but it's also like anthemic and larger than life. The 70s did that first, really, so you're all gonna need to lawyer up. But in reality, this has a very 70s sound to it. It reminds me a lot of the really goofy kind of selling out pop music of that time. I mean, look at a song that got a weird resurgence on TikTok that's all from the 70s and has the exact same sound that I'm talking about, which is Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes by Edison Lighthouse. Again, watch the Time in the Shadows video if you want to hear like the real tea, but that's not a real band and it was completely a corporate manufacturing scheme. But the song has that really transcendent larger than life vibe, even though it's just a dumb little pop song about how much he loves a girl named Rosemary. So, this is the kind of sound that I think all three of these dudes are going for. Of course, I have to mention Prince, obviously. I Want to Be Your Lover is like the specific one that comes to mind when I think of this sound, even though it doesn't really sound the same, and it's like more of a disco kind of song. But that song's just really good, okay? And I really like it, and so I'm mentioning it now. That's about it, really. I'm gonna add more songs to the playlist to, really fill it up, make it robust. I want a thick playlist, I need a lot of. We need like the carrots and the peas and like the celery in this pop song soup that we're making currently. But those were the 4, 5. I don't fucking know. Those were the songs that I think this Harry Styles single, you know, got inspiration from. Of course, I've literally seen no interviews. I just sat in my dark dungeon bedroom and put my headphones in and just listened to a bunch of music on Spotify and went a little bit crazy. That's all. I don't really know what this is. I just wanted to fucking talk, I guess. I tried putting a vague theme over it to just talk about music that I like, but there's not really any theme to this. It's just kind of me rambling for like 15 minutes. I don't know if that's going to be enjoyable, but who cares? I had fun. You had fun, maybe. Let's do it again sometime. Call you next week? By the way, I'm still currently attempting to edit a video that I recorded back in December of my top 10 favorite hit songs of 2021. I don't know if I'll ever get it out. I think I'll just release it because I need it out of my brain. But I know it's not going to go anywhere because no one really cares about year-end lists in April anymore. But I feel like I just need to get it done. So if you see that happen as well, go ahead and click on it. If you want to hear me talk about pop music a little bit more, I guess.